Record. Hey, everybody. Welcome. It's another Live with Maria. I know it's been a couple weeks, but I had to make sure that I was mentally prepared for this fantastic interview that is going to happen today. My guest is the one and only Melanie Rich, who is, here she is, look right here, from Austin, Texas. And so let me tell you a little bit about Melanie. She is my godmother's granddaughter. And not everybody has a godmother. Some people do, but when you're raised in the Catholic faith, godparents are really important. They're the ones that are supposed to say, if something happens to your parents, they'll take care of you. They're supposed to also assist with your spiritual growth or something like that. And so it just so happens that my godmother and my mom are very, very close. So not only is my godmother, but she is family, as is everyone else in the family. Yes. So we joke that Melanie's mom is my god sister. So Melanie is my god niece. We make up lots of stupid stuff. Fine. Yeah. And for those of you in Tulsa, some of my Facebook friends, Melanie is cousins with Missy McCaw, the famous Missy McCaw Freddie, because Missy and I have a lot of mutual friends in Tulsa. So some people may know. So hi, Melanie.
Hello. Hi. Wonderful introduction. That was
more than people needed to know.
It's okay. I can make those dots connect. It's okay.
Okay. So Melanie, I'm so excited to talk to you. And I have to tell people, one of the reasons why we decided to do this was because you work in supply chain and for a major grocery company. And we'll talk about that later. And that sounded super interesting. But then I also just love the idea of talking to someone that I've known her entire life, even though there was a gap. There was a gap when you moved away, but I was there when you were born and then babysat you for a long time. And then you moved away, and then we would see each other more often as we would get together for adult or family event things that usually involve adult beverages of some sort. So that's why I thought that would be fun. So Melanie, tell the nice people, what do you do? Who are you? What do you do? Where are you? What's going on?
Well, I am currently in my parents' basement in Austin, Texas, where I have been self-isolating, and I am working from home for said grocery chain. I was fortunate enough, because I work downtown, in the corporate offices. That pretty much gave it away. But I was able to
we're not saying what it is.
No, we're not saying what it is. That's fine.
Yeah.
Transition to my parents' house pretty seamlessly. My dad, if anybody out there knows Tom Rich, knows that all you have to say is I need just a quick setup, and he basically just recreated my office desk in the basement. So
that sounds like Tom Rich. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Didn't give him a lot of details either, just really went gung-ho with it and created it. So I've been easily working here, and it's actually not been too bad. You know, my mom does her puzzles upstairs and I work all day down here, and
that's awesome.
Not a lot of clashing or anything. So
well, they have such a lovely house, and it's not that it's massive, but it's got nice little sections. Like you can go to different areas and have your own little wing or whatever. So that's funny that your mom's doing puzzles. Is that her thing? Does she love the puzzles?
Oh my gosh. And I just got her one when all of this started, and it was the worst one. It was all sepia tones, and she would just curse up a storm the whole, I could hear her talking to herself, just and I was like, what is happening? So I started Insta videoing her doing it.
Hilarious.
And
I have to go back and watch that.
You need to watch some of them, because she's become Insta famous slightly, because my friends now are asking more about how my mom's doing on her puzzles
funny
than about me.
So you know what puzzles make me think of, don't you? You know who that makes. Grandpa. So yeah. Melanie's grandpa always was doing a puzzle. And then the puzzles that were the super coolest ones of all were then framed and hung up. And
the big ship one. Yeah.
Massive.
Yeah.
And so when I think of puzzles, I think of your grandpa, J.M. Miles, because that was his thing. And they even had a really super big, wasn't it the New York skyline one?
That my parents got him that one, I think, actually.
Oh, wow.
I think.
They couldn't move it out of their old house, right? It wouldn't fit.
It was so big.
They couldn't get it. I don't know how they got it in. I guess he made it upstairs.
He had
Probably.
to.
Yeah. So anyway, that's funny. Yeah. John Miles loved him a puzzle, as does Dawn Miles, I guess.
I don't know if she really likes him or not, but she's on her 4th one now. But she's
just determined.
She's so determined. She's got so many contraptions up there now. I saw she added like a magnifying glass, and she has like 4 spotlights now so she can see the puzzle.
Just for the puzzles.
It's ridiculous.
So your mom's also prepared to go speak live on CNN because she's got all these lights that she could be a
boarding live.
Analyst of self-quarantine. Okay, so I love your parents so much. What has been the funniest thing about being at home with Dawn Rich and then also with Tom Rich? Because they're 2 independent people.
Correct. They are. I think the funniest thing, I actually was like more concerned that my dad would get really stressed out that he couldn't do anything, but he's actually been like pretty chill. There was one funny thing I was trying to fix, because I have all these windows here in the basement. I think you've been in our basement here before. So I had them all open, and he came down and saw that I had the door open and there's no like screen there. So I was just letting in, like, because I needed fresh air. And he came down and he was like, shut the door. Can't let all the bugs in. And I was like, okay, like, sure, we'll shut the door. And the next day he was like, I ordered a screen door. It's like,
yes.
Okay.
And that is number 1, why I love your dad. And number 2, I am married to someone that would have done the exact same thing.
Right? I didn't ask for the screen door. I was like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
He saw a need that needed to be met, and he did it.
So now I have a screen door, so I can open the door, and there's like a nice screen, so I get fresh air. No bugs. No bugs are getting in.
That's awesome.
We're good. I'd say the funniest thing about my mom, she's just been like not on one, but she cracks me up all the time. But the puzzles has been hilarious to watch her. And then I guess having to cook every day, she just gets, sometimes she's like, we're just going to have the same thing again. I don't know what we're going to cook. She's like, well, we're just having frozen vegetables. We're just going to heat those up. We're going to reheat leftovers. Like,
I feel her, man. I know. You just like, what are we going to do? Okay. You can't, it's a lot. Well, and you have all this stuff that you want to use, and you got to use the stuff before it, Yeah. It's a lot. Oh, but I love them.
Helping her get onto Zoom was pretty funny too. Like she had this, like, she calls them cocktail hours instead of just like Zoom hangouts or anything.
But they're really more than an hour, right? More than,
Oh my God, yeah. Like, trying to set the first one up with her and her friends was like a journey. Like, it was truly a full journey.
I feel it.
Grandma yesterday, actually. I think
good.
Grandma set up a Zoom with her and stuff. So,
well, I have not figured out how to do Zoom for Mom yet. I think that we can, but we're limiting how much we touch her stuff and that kind of thing. Yeah. So we see her. We'll go see her. We'll just stand on the porch, and she'll stand on the bottom of the steps, and she's on the porch. Or we did actually. I picked her up the other day, and she got in the car, but everyone in the car had masks on, plus she did. So we're limiting it. But the point is, I haven't been able to do
do them.
put Zoom on there yet, but I want to. I would love for her and Carol to do this.
God,
That would be great.
Talk all day.
We could record it too, and that would be funny, probably.
Yeah.
And potentially embarrassing.
True.
So,
yeah, for all of us.
Okay, so what are you watching right now? Because I follow you on Twitter, and I took a lot of joy in you sharing with the Twitterverse how you introduced your family to the Marvel universe, which was awesome. But what else are you watching?
So what I'm watching personally, granted, I consume so much TV in general. I feel like it's just like probably not healthy, but I just consume a lot. But I started last night this new show that came out on Friday called Hollywood. It's like a new Ryan Murphy.
Oh, really?
It's pretty good. I'm on the second episode. It's kind of like an alt history of old Hollywood.
Okay.
It's okay. I finished this one called Outer Banks, which was kind of like a teen drama.
Yes.
So I was really into that. I've been watching old Top Chef seasons.
Oh, fun.
Rewatching that. I did, however, mostly I've been playing Animal Crossing. I don't know if your kids...
Okay, I don't know what it is, but I have adult friends that play it.
Oh, it's addicting.
They said it's super addicting, and I mean, for a moment last night, I thought about downloading the app, and then I thought, I don't have time to do all the things I'm doing, so maybe I shouldn't. But what is it?
So it's based on a game that came out like 10 years ago. But you get this little island and you have two neighbors, and you have this guy named Tom Nook who's like the overlord of the island, and you've got to pay him loans to get your house, and you've got to you can make all these like do-it-yourself crafts for like shovels, and you can go fishing, and you can like dig up fossils and plant flowers. But it's fun because it's like online, so all my friends will get online and we'll visit each other's islands, so we'll
funny
on each other's islands with our little characters.
So is it like Sims?
It's kind of like Sims meets, did you ever do like Farmville on Facebook like back in the day?
Kind of, yeah, ish. I think
I tried to show my mom Animal Crossing. She's like, this is just like my Farmville game that I played all the time. And I was like, well, it's a little different, but it's kind of the same concept.
It's not exactly mom, but thanks.
It's different.
Okay, what?
Yeah.
Well, okay, all right. Yeah. So, but I want to check out Hollywood. I like Ryan Murphy. Mm-hmm. I like Fluffy. Is there singing? Surely.
No singing. It's kind of, I don't know how to describe it. It's got all the Ryan Murphy like pizzazz in it, like he has his normal band of people like Darren Criss and Patti LuPone is in it.
Oh wow.
Holland Taylor is in it.
I love her so much.
Yeah. Jim Parsons is in it.
Oh really?
Yeah. So it's got like
I like Jim Parsons. Yeah.
Of things. It's good. It's a little raunchy, but
Hey, that's all right. I like that. I mean, sounds exciting.
Yeah. Me and the parents though are watching Waco. Like we're going through the show Waco on Netflix right now.
What's that one? See, I don't have time to watch because I have two parasites that live in the house that want food and snacks, and they want me to be their entertainment director. So when I get a minute, it's few and far between. So I've gotten to watch. We went back and started watching Flight of the Conchords, but.
Oh, cool.
And Noah actually really likes it.
Oh.
And so Stu and Noah actually will watch it sometimes without me. So they've gotten farther along than I have, but that's okay.
Okay.
So Flight of the Conchords is fun, but I don't have time to watch a whole bunch of stuff. We've been watching old Star Trek.
Nothing wrong with that. either.
No, it's been
Nothing.
great.
I love a good rewatch of stuff like that. So
Yes. Yeah. The
not a-
good
yeah.
old stuff. And then last night, Noah wanted to watch Guardians of the Galaxy. So for the 5 millionth time.
Yeah.
So we watched that. That was fun.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. So you're watching Top Chef.
Yeah.
You are staying at a house with a wonderful kitchen.
True.
But your mom's stressing out a little bit. So what are you eating when Dawn Rich is not
Stressing out.
not having a new menu?
What are we eating? We're having my dad's been able to get some good actually good seafood. So we've been able to
Good.
get good fresh seafood. My mom cooked scallops for the first time, so she was really jazzed about that. And they were really good.
Wow. Good.
I made some like my own makeover carbonara the other day. That was pretty good. I'm trying to contribute, but I've been like having to work till like 5 to 6 every day. So when I get up, like, what do I don't know what to do. So
yeah, right.
My dad's been getting like pork chop for himself, and like we'll grill chicken. I think tonight they got like just already a whole rotisserie chicken that they're gonna use and do mashed potatoes and stuff. So easy stuff that we can do. Sometimes when we're feeling it, we'll bust out, the beurre blancs that my mom loves to make, just all of her butter sauces.
Nice.
Put on everything.
Yes.
So,
I go in waves. Stu's been really great about buying things that are easy for the kids, so I don't have to go crazy all the time.
Yeah.
Then when I cook, it's just typically for us. So that's made it easier. Right. And we've kind of gotten into a groove, and there's a lot of really great things that are frozen and ready to go. Yeah. And so that's been good. I got an Instant Pot last year. Do you guys have one?
No, I personally want one at my own condo, but I haven't.
It is the best thing ever. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I love it. Mm-hmm. And so I've been making things in the Instant Pot. I made a lot of stuff at first, and then kind of tapered off because if you have too much stuff and it's just the two people eating it, then you gotta space it out. Yeah. But yeah, so I've been cooking, I've been making good stuff, and then I've also been reheating things that are frozen. Sorry, they'll be okay.
We're gonna be fine.
They're all gonna be fine. Yep.
Everybody's gonna be fine.
The kids will be fine. They'll be fine.
The kids are all right.
Okay, so speaking of work, this is the nitty gritty. So you work in so what's your title, or what's your job title? What do you do?
My job title is a logistics analyst.
And you analyze logistics.
Correct.
For grocery stores, a grocery store in particular.
A grocery store, yep.
Okay, so it goes without saying that you are certainly busier than you probably have ever been.
Yes.
How long were you on this job before the proverbial shit hit the fan?
The proverbial shit is a wonderful way to put what happened. I started working at this place in November of 2018. So you had a year-ish
under your belt after.
Yeah, change, yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how prepared were you for this change in supply chain? And I guess give us the timeline too. When did you start to see, we're going to have to do stuff differently?
I think kind of in the end of January, we were all kind of getting the feeling okay, people are starting to kind of change their buying habits a little bit. And thankfully, a lot of suppliers at that time were prepared, I'd say. We had a good inkling that things were happening, and that potentially people are going to want to start buying more stuff. So we started seeing that at the end of January. And then all throughout February was kind of everybody was kind of we need to start tracking these items here because we have a feeling that these are going to be the first ones off the shelf. And where I work, we had a good, what we call a hurricane preparedness plan. So we already have these emergency plans enacted. So within the supply chain, if there's any disruptions, you can just enact them, and the suppliers know where to service that. But that obviously is a little different because this wasn't causing like power outages. So,
right.
you know,
Right.
so the buying habits changed a little bit. But I think the week leading up to when we were all told we had to work from home, we all were getting the sense we're going to have to work from home.
Yeah. Yeah.
No way.
You could see it coming.
Yes. It was like started to get desolate everywhere. I actually, the Friday before, I went out with a coworker to like a restaurant, and we sat there and there was nobody on this patio.
Wow.
All right. Well, I guess I won't be seeing you for a while.
This
goodbye.
is the last dance.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'll see you maybe in June. I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
I just kind of was out of my parents when I got the initial information, and I was like, I live by myself, and I just was like, mentally, I do not believe this is the best option for me to be quarantined alone for who knows how long. So
right.
So I just inserted myself in my parents' home, basically. So.
They love it.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure they're happier that you're there. Have you gone back to your apartment to check on things or get stuff?
Yeah, I had 4 pairs of pants with me, and I've worn them just on a weekly basis. I will wear one and then I will wear the other. Yeah. Just like I actually have sweatpants on right now, and this is like the only normal shirt that I have.
Yeah, I wore a t-shirt. Yeah.
Like my mom was like, dress nice. She's like, put something nice on.
I put a nice black t-shirt on.
Yeah, but no, I'd say we kind of had a feeling, and there was definitely a lot of prep that was happening because they kind of like were seeing the writing on the wall. But the panic buying like waves were something else. Like,
so, okay, your demographic also, well, it just depends. Like, because this particular company has grocery stores everywhere, pretty much, right?
Yep.
And so, have you seen
everywhere in America?
Everywhere in America, right? And I would imagine that the demographic is roughly similar, but may change depending on the area. Did you see any? What's the weirdest thing that people started like hoarding besides toilet? I mean, toilet paper. I don't think is that weird.
Apparently, it causes IBS, but who
I guess
like.
You know what I think? You know why I think? Here's my psychoanalysis of why people bought toilet paper. I really think because whenever we get snowed in, we buy toilet paper because we don't know when we're going to have to go someplace. And people have no idea what this is or they didn't, at least in February, or how this was going to play out, March. And so they just did what they thought they needed to do.
Yeah.
And they thought they were going to need a lot of toilet paper. I think they just didn't know what else to do. Well, when there's a tornado, when there's a hurricane or a snowstorm, we got to go get toilet.
You got to.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need to do that. Like,
no, but I think they just didn't know what to do. So they did what they thought they could. Anyway, so besides toilet paper,
what I saw, I think the sweep of the condiments was something I was like,
oh, really?
I feel like you just buy like a big old thing of ketchup and like you're good. But people were like the whole like condiment aisles. Like,
that's funny.
4 jars of mayonnaise. Like, what's happening here?
We really like chicken salad over here, and we need some mayonnaise. Okay.
Okay, fair.
Back off.
What? Like,
that's weird.
Keeping back in stock with our condiments has been one of the more challenging things. Like, condiment suppliers are like, God, like,
what are they doing?
Yeah,
that's funny.
I'd say condiments are. I don't know. I mean, dried pasta makes sense. That's something that
canned foods,
like canned tuna, like all those essential items and whatnot. But And coffee was another thing that was kind of like starting to fly off pretty fast.
Well, people got to have their fix.
Truly. Yeah, you can't just go to Starbucks anymore. So
no.
But I think the condiment was like the truly when I was like, what is happening here?
Yeah.
Soy sauce? Can't find any of our like low sodium. Like Dad's like, I can't find low sodium soy sauce anywhere. And I was like, well, I don't know what to tell you. So.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'll tell the guys at the warehouse to pull one.
Poured some for you.
So you also said there was kind of like a wave, and I'm sure there's probably like a meat wave, right? Oh, get it? Heat wave.
Heat wave.
Heat wave. I came up with that. That's what you're getting for the price of admission, folks. Yes. How is the meat wave? Because, okay, so is there, here's the question. Is there a meat wave? A, and B, have you seen any indication on the supply end that there's going to be a lag or whatever?
Well, I don't work in meat and seafood, so like anything that's meat, seafood, cheese, and dairy, like perishables, I'm not. It's not my forte. But I will say, I think in general, meat wasn't an issue until probably like a week or two ago. So I imagine you're going to start seeing and having a lot of difficulties finding at least like high quality meat, like your organic, your, farm raised fish and all that. I think that's going to start really being difficult. And I struggle. I don't like saying when things are going to be difficult because then things start.
Oh yeah. You don't want anybody to panic buy. Yeah.
And so that's kind of like what people are like, what should I buy? And I'm like, well, I don't really like want to tell you what I think you should buy, but flour, but because like people are panic buying like crazy, and it kind of was going in waves. Like the weekends are the worst. Like you won't have like restock shelves till like a Wednesday probably. So yeah, but
so
I don't know. I think next week you'll definitely see like a good shortage start happening with seafood. So,
and do you think the shortage is more from the panic buying or from the supply going down a little bit?
Well, so like I was trying to explain to my parents, I was like, when we have like crop shortages, like you kind of plan for that like maybe once a year, but right now, like if you're a farmer, you planted your crops, last year to be pulled thinking what your demand was going to be in March. So in some instances, we're seeing demand that should have lasted or supply that should have lasted like 5 months went away in like 3 weeks. So supply just eradicated in like exponentially large amount of time. So the same is kind of happening for meat. Like you can't just like clone cows and like re-kill them. Like it's not, you can't just like grow a new cow like quickly. So I mean like ranchers are like, well, I only have so much life, so it's like a whole supply and demand. Like this just shot all of your supply because demand was up here. So it just is.
That's crazy. So do you work on one particular region in the United States, or are you all over?
All of it.
Everywhere.
I do. How I work is I work in specific categories. So I help with about 6 different categories in the company. There's branded, so like all of your like Annie's and your Kraft and your like all those like typical brands you see, and then there's the private label. So like Walmart's private label, I think it's Safeway. I don't know. I probably got that wrong. Target's like Country Archer.
Great value.
Great value.
That's Walmart's. Yeah.
H-E-B is Safeway. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't actually know. And, like the private label stuff. So I work on private label for the grocery. So I'm not doing I don't handle the big brands. I do like logistics for 6 categories in private label, which are all like grocery, non-perishable stuff. So I don't deal with any of that I don't understand any of that other stuff. I'm like,
you have your lane and you get to work in that little area.
Yep.
And that's keeping you plenty busy.
Yeah. Yes.
So how does one become a whatever you are that you just said that I totally forgot what it
A
was
logistics analyst.
exactly? Logistics analyst. Yes, very
Uh-huh.
fancy. What's your
Um,
degree in?
supply chain management, which is in the business school at UT. Sometimes it's supply chain can get a little murky. Sometimes they're called
Yeah.
industrial engineers, which is a little bit more engineering than me. I'm more
Mm-hmm.
businessy than that. So they kind of like meet in the middle. But yeah, I did supply chain because I hated everything else in the business school. So I was like, process of elimination here. So then I ended up liking it. So
Well, and you really like this job too. I mean,
yeah.
has this challenging part to your
Mhm.
job made you like it more, or have you been yeah, how does it fall on the spectrum?
Yeah.
Like, I'm so stressed out, or this is a really great challenge that I can kind of sink my teeth into and try to figure out.
Mhm. I love that question because when I was thinking about it the other day, yes, I've been like more stressed than I had been prior in this company. However, I've felt more fulfilled because I've wanted to work and actually help. So I'm okay with like dealing with the stress and it doesn't bother me because I'm enjoying, you know, the output and I have a great like company and coworker and boss and everything. So it makes it a lot easier to deal with it.
Yeah.
I'd say in my former company, the same type of stress, I was not enjoying myself. So I think this is so much better. And I mean, I do feel like I should, you know, manage the stress a little bit better. But I think all in all,
Yeah.
like it, and it's been okay. I mean, I don't even really notice some days when I worked as long as I did because I'm like actually enjoying solving issues and you know all that good stuff.
I would imagine with zero supply chain
Mhm.
understanding that it's
Mhm.
like a really big puzzle that you're
Mhm.
constantly, oh, kind of like Dawn Rich upstairs.
Loving our
That's
puzzle.
loving the puzzles.
Loving the
Yes.
puzzle. Yes,
You're
it's
putting all those pieces together.
uh-huh. It's a lot of like, okay, prioritization. Where do things go? What are we moving here? How do we fix it? What are the amounts that we need to forecast to bring in? How do we fill all the holes? You know, it's a lot of planning and organizing. So it forces me to do all of those things.
So in the world of supply chain, who
Mm-hmm.
are the nicest people? Is it the condiment people? Is it I mean, who is it? Is it
Nice people.
the grains? Who are the good people? Like, who are the cool kids in the class?
Because you've like named the people that I work with and they're all great.
Oh,
So
good.
like, no, I love everybody that I do. And I know everybody says like, oh, the people, but like, I feel like I really do like we call them like category merchants are the ones that like head the categories. And then I'm kind
Mm-hmm.
of like on their teams, but they're all great and they all have like varying degrees of personalities. And I love them so much. It allows me to
That's
kind of like,
awesome.
you know, interact with different types of people and I love it. Yeah, I don't ever
I
like go to work and be like, oh, I just like can't deal with like, no, like today.
Yeah,
I'm like, hey, what's up, everyone?
that's not well. I was just thinking, like, is there any man? Those pickle people are weird folks. You know, whatever. Like,
People. Oh
I
gosh,
don't know. I just think pickles. I don't know.
no, I don't think I think that about any of them. I'm trying to think. Some of them follow me on Facebook, so they might watch this. Um,
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad that you like them all,
I do like them.
and um, I feel better about the food that I'm buying, knowing that they're
Mhm,
all pretty. Nobody's out there calling, you know, the
mhm.
long grain rice people, you know, hard to deal with.
Like, oh, the water people. Oof.
Those water folks.
No,
Yeah, good. I'm glad.
yeah, no, they're all great. Mhm.
Okay, so is there anything else that you want to tell us about supply chain? Because it really is, to me, very fascinating. And I don't care if people are
Mhm.
bored, because if they're bored, they can turn this off. Um,
You can press pause or
but
exit.
I don't think people think about
Mhm.
how many steps our food has to go through in order to get to our table. Like,
Correct.
you know, it has to be grown, and then it has to be
Mm-hmm.
packaged and, you know,
Mm-hmm.
shipped. And
Yeah.
it's such a huge thing. When this whole thing started, there was a gentleman that lives here that called and said, you know, we really need to put a sign on the edge of town that says, thank you, truckers. And I was like, you're right, because
Yeah.
if we didn't have those guys, I would not be getting my whatever. My flour is what I've got right now
Yeah.
going.
Seriously, like truckers, delivery drivers, anybody that's handling freight right now, I'm just like, poof, like I don't know what we would do without people that could go make dock appointments, that could unload warehouse workers, that I have to work pretty much 24 hours. I mean, I have so much sympathy. As somebody who used to work in a warehouse, I understand it is not sexy to be in one. And the fact that it's insanity right now, I can't even imagine how much less sexy it has gotten to be in a warehouse too. So yeah,
and I think people are getting punchy a little bit too.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so anybody that has to deal directly with the public, I'm sure, is seeing how people get frustrated, and then they get a little bit, you know, short, and makes it kind of hard to do all that. Okay. So anything else you want to say about it? Because I really do think it's awesome and I love it. It's interesting.
I'm trying to think. You know, I could talk about it all day. And it's funny because I feel like sometimes I talk, oh, hi. I talk, my friends ask how it's going and I'm like, I just don't even know where to start. Like, I'm like, I don't know, like how to even, like,
yeah.
Well,
I think you did a good job of explaining what you do. And, you know, you're analyzing the logistics of where things have to go and meeting the demand with whatever. And I guess your puzzle piece that you're probably having to work on all the time is ever changing. So I don't know.
I mean,
you probably can't tell us exactly.
No, every time you buy something that it had to go through at least 17 steps to get there. A lot goes in behind when a new item launches. There's so much that goes in. There's so much to replenishing shelves. There's so much to keeping up with demand. And a lot of suppliers right now are struggling with it. And it's not like we'll forever be out of stock of like flour. Like we're going to be back in stock in flour. It's just people need to, you know, slow back a little bit. I know everybody wants to make their sourdough and everybody wants to make their banana breads and stuff, but like we're gonna get it back in stock, but it's probably there's gonna be a good recovery period until like groceries are normal again. So
one last question. How we talked a little bit about, you know, the things that we would expect people would want to buy to keep, like canned items or, you know, things that have a long shelf life. Are there those kinds of things that have either picked up or people are buying, like, you know, Spam or, you know, like whatever, those kinds. Well, you know what's funny is I told Stu, I used to go to a trade show every year, and Wisconsin was always right next to Minnesota. And Spam was invented in Minnesota. I don't know if you knew that.
I did
but
not.
It was. Okay. And of course, Wisconsin is known for its cheese. And so at this trade show, Wisconsin would have this huge booth that had a ton of stuff, all these Wisconsin type items. And then Minnesota would have a booth with all kinds of items. But right next to each other would be the Spam from Minnesota and the cheese from Wisconsin. And the day that I was on the trade show floor that I had to make appointments, I would always go to the Minnesota and Wisconsin place and get cheese and Spam. That was like I would eat Spam one time a year. It would be there, and they had Spam. You may know this. I don't know. There are Spam flavors. Like there's a whole rainbow of Spam. There's Spam with cheese, Spam with chorizo. There was hot Spam. Oh, there was.
We don't need
all
that.
Kinds of Spam.
We don't need that.
Well, I'm telling you, when you're at a trade show and they're on toothpicks and it's a square like this big, it's a freaking delicacy because you don't know when you're going to eat.
We love our freebies. We love our free samples. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
So I said, Stu knows that I like Spam, but I mean, it was because I ate it once a year at this thing. And so he bought a couple cans of Spam. So we have some just, for hard times.
Yeah.
I'm saving them.
Of course.
I'm saving them. But so did anybody buy bulk any of those like non-perishable or?
Yeah, I'd say the canned tuna, I mean, blew off the shelf, and our supplier does not manufacture anywhere close to America. So getting that back into warehouses and replenting stores is going to take a little bit of time, because I mean, that is like one thing people like definitely hoarded was canned tuna. And then the dried pasta, and then obviously our manufacturer for dried pasta is not here either. So I was like, well, that's just going to be the way it is for now. So
that's right.
It gets here.
So if you want a tuna casserole, you're SOL right now.
I think there are some regions that I think have more than others. Our region, I don't believe, is in a great spot for canned tuna. I don't remember off the top of my head, but
I don't really care for canned tuna. I mean,
like and like,
yes, I agree. Yeah. I've eaten tuna salad sandwiches and I like them. But when you open up a can of tuna and the smell, it's all. I have a hard time getting past that.
No, I get it. Yeah.
No, so I don't make tuna salad.
Yeah.
What?
It lingers for sure.
It lingers. I can't.
Yeah.
But I will eat it. If it's somebody's made it, I'll eat it.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, I was going to ask you some other questions. And then I thought we could do well, actually, while I'm looking through this, tell me something that you remember about me when you were little, because let me tell you let me set this up for you. So Melanie Rich was born in Bartlesville, America. Yay. So
I'm a Bartlesville gal.
She's a Bartian somewhere in her core. And what year were you born?
1993.
Okay. So I was in college when you were born. And then when I came home from college, I babysat. So I came home in 96. So you were like 3 years old. And, but my mom was watching your brother, Patrick, when you were born. So, because I think she said, she remembered that Tom Rich called and said that Melanie Dawn was here. So anyway, I remember you little, and then I used to pick you up after something, daycare, I guess. You and there was another little girl, and I would take you to gymnastics. So like I remember you, and it was so precious. And I was thinking about this yesterday, like in my memory, you are both people. You are this super hip, cool chick that you grew into that I love. I love you. I mean, I love you anyway, but I love your personality, and I love how dry you are, and you're super funny, and you love theater, and I love theater. Like I take credit for all that.
Of course.
Even though you moved from Bartlesville, like when you were 5 or something, but it was there, the roots. So I have two kinds of memories of you. I have the memories of you when you were really little, and you were absolutely the sweetest, most precious and ornery little, like you were ornery. Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But you were so cute, and your face was just perfectly round and just so cute. So my earliest memories of you are, babysitting and doing that kind of thing. But your kitchen in Bartlesville, I don't know why, I remember your pantry, and your pantry had drawers that rolled out, And I had never lived anywhere with a pantry that had drawers that rolled out. Now I have one now, so I feel like I'm kind of pretty cool now.
Yeah.
I remember that, but I also remember that you guys used to drink cranberry and Cokes. That was your cocktail.
Yes.
And it was
not even Coke.
I think it was it wasn't even Coke. It was low sugar cranberry juice, I think.
Yeah.
And Diet 7-Up, which I still like to this day.
Yeah, no, I would drink it now if you gave it to me. I'd be like, this is
amazing.
Put a little vodka in it now, but yeah.
Exactly. Yes. And I think that might be how that drink came about. There was probably cocktail making and weird.
Yeah.
And I remember making you guys dinner, and Patrick really loved this. I don't remember if you did this too, but you would dip green beans in ketchup and eat them like French fries. Did you do that?
I did. I definitely did that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that. So those are my memories of that time. Mm-hmm. But then, since you've been an adult, I a lot of my opinion about you has formed through social media. But I just love how funny you are and dry. And and then last year, I got about a year ago, I think it was ish. Yeah. It was in March. I came to Austin and I stayed. Yeah. And just like getting to hang out with you guys all day that day and spend time and just laugh and talk around the table and that kind of felt like big good family connection and all that. Yeah. So that's my you in a nutshell. Jansen's wedding, we had a lot of fun there.
That was wild.
That was wild.
I was in I had my no, that was grandma's. I had my shoulder surgery before grandma's birthday, and so I was kind of lame and couldn't do much. But
your grandma's 80th birthday. That was fun too. That was a good fun time.
I just know you're a great dancer too. You forget to add that in about yourself. So
we had fun dancing. That was good. That was Jansen's. Yeah. Well, we danced at your grandma's 80th too. Oh, yeah. There's always dancing. So what are do you remember that little time when you were here? And it's okay if you don't, because I remember after that, one year we drove to Houston. We had my grandma, I think, and we stopped at your house, and you were 11-ish. I don't remember, somewhere in there. And your mom was like, hey, Rosie and Maria are here, and they're gonna, and I remember it took a while for you guys to warm up to us because it had been a while. You had moved from Bartlesville, and you don't always remember things when you're really little. So I give you all that to say, if you don't remember anything from when you lived in Bartlesville, I will not be offended. But what's your take?
In Bartlesville, I think, because obviously I was 5 when we left. I just have glimpses of things. Remembering, I kind of remember what the daycare looked like and the playground area. I remember this Halloween thing. I think it was at Patrick's school in Bartlesville.
Yes.
There was a Halloween event that I somehow get flashes of. I don't know what it was, but I get I don't know.
St. John's School always has a fun night.
Yes. Yep. I just remember that being so fun. I remember our neighborhood where we lived, and there being that really steep driveway. I think it was across the street or something.
Yeah.
And Patrick pushed me down it on a tricycle or something. And I hit a car at one point, I think, and I was fine. But I just remember, glimpses of things. I can't remember, I remember the first time we had to hide from a tornado. I remember that's a very vivid memory. It's probably why I'm terrified of storms still. No, I do remember when you stopped by though, when I was 11, and I was who are these people?
I remember that, and I was well, yeah, she wouldn't remember because she was little when we left.
Yeah.
And then just the family good times. We have really been lucky to, your mom. I mean, your grandma had a birthday party, and weddings, and sometimes funerals. Sometimes. So although you did you go to Grandma Tiz's funeral?
I couldn't go to hers or grandpa's. I was at grandpa's before the funeral and
right
house, and then
you had just left. Yeah.
I had to
And
leave.
so I think your family helps remind me that it's okay to have a lot of alcohol and laugh at funerals too. Because we do that too.
We that is one thing you will always find anything
Yes.
related to the Miles family.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. There's always, we took over you weren't there, Patrick was there. We took over a hotel lobby for your Uncle Charlie's funeral, and we laughed and told stories, and it's always really cathartic. It's just,
it is.
It's good for the soul. Anyway, I'm going to get teary-eyed, so I'm going to stop because I love you guys so much.
Yeah. I just, I think one of my favorite recent memories is Grandma's birthday, and just like Missy at Grandma's birthday was easily one of the best things I've ever seen in my life.
I wish you had been alive for Missy. Wait, no, you were alive, but you don't remember. Missy was awesome at Missy's wedding.
I'm so happy Missy was awesome at her wedding, because
she was full on Missy.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, "Ooh, she is not gonna wake up and feel good." And I hope Missy watches this to know that I will never forget that evening. So
Missy better watch this. And Dana, well, if Missy doesn't watch it, Dana will watch it and tell her, you know. Oh, I love me some Miles, Macaw, all of those, Freddie, everybody.
Oh yeah.
So okay, here's my let's see, how long have we been going? We're not quite at an hour. Okay, I'm recording it. Do you want to say hi? Noah wants to say hi.
Here's her 9-year-old son.
There's Noah. You remember Melanie from Aunt Grandma's birthday party?
I had an arm sling on during.
She had an arm sling on.
Oh!
Yeah. Okay. I'm interviewing her. Okay. So I'm going to ask you just a couple of questions, and then we're going to do a lightning round. Okay. So what do you do to get rid of stress? Besides consume too much entertainment, are you doing anything to get rid of stress?
I have, because I just feel like right now there's just so much going on. I typically do, like, I know a lot of people are always like exercise or whatever, but my de-stress is like TV. Like, I genuinely watch TV to de-stress. But I recently was like, okay, maybe I should give this whole thing, like meditation, a try. So I downloaded the Calm app, and I actually really like it. It doesn't, because I'm a very high-strung person, if you could like believe that, and I couldn't picture myself sitting there with my eyes closed being like, what am I doing here with my eyes closed? So but it has been nice. Like, I don't know if I'm doing it. I know you're not technically supposed to do it right, but I don't know if I am doing it right. But it has been nice to like do and to like think differently. So that's been good. But I definitely say like TV and Animal Crossing has been my current de-stress way right now. So
I think all of those are good things, because that for me, it's about turning your mind off for a minute. And so when you're watching TV, you're not, I remember I have a lot of anxiety, and I know my mom always is like, no, you don't, you're so happy. And it's true. I am. I'm a fun, happy person, but there is truly anxiety in there. And it's just taken me a while to figure out how to
get there,
tame that animal. But I remember being like around your age, and I loved going to the movies, because from the moment you walked in until the moment the movie was over, you didn't have to answer the phone or worry about whatever, a bill or work or anything. You had this little chunk of time where you could kind of shut off the world. And I think that's what's so great about watching TV, playing a mindless game, and also, what was the other one that you said? The Calm app. So I started doing Headspace, which is another meditation. And I started that a couple plus years ago.
Uh-huh.
And it does,
Yeah.
it just makes the perfect difference. And I have a yoga instructor
Okay.
who is also my neighbor. Hi, Ashley. I love you. And she always says when we're doing our practice to quiet your monkey mind. And that's what you're doing.
Yep.
You're quieting that monkey mind. You got to,
Yep.
yeah, turn all that stuff off. Okay.
Yeah.
What is something that you are obsessed with? There's so many good things I think you're obsessed with.
A weighted question because
yeah.
I and most of my family and friends know that I have like kind of an obsessive personality where I really get my teeth into something and can't stop it. But the things that have kind of like lasted and trajected over like the longest amount of time would definitely be musicals. I'd say that I have a larger than normal and healthy knowledge of musicals. It's just something I have to consume constantly.
It's a fantastic trait that you possess, and I love it. Yes.
But I just got it. It's been the one thing I think I really started getting into it in like the 7th grade, and I just like couldn't stop. Like it just was.
There's so many good ones.
So many good ones. Obviously, sports. I consume like large amounts of sports of all kinds, but obviously like women's soccer is like my number one end all be all. I finally went to the World Cup last year and it was like the greatest vacation of my life.
That was so awesome. And you shared photos and videos and it was so, I'm so glad you got to go last year too.
I know.
Because who knows when you're going to get to go see one again.
I know. I actually went to a women's soccer game in Frisco on March 11th. It was, and like 4 days later, the country, I mean, like that night though, the country was like in lockdown while the game was going on. And I was like,
should I be here?
Should I be here right now? So I think those 3 are like pretty prominent, I'd say, that have lasted the test of time.
Did you see the U.S. team play when you were there last year?
Oh yeah, I saw.
Yeah, you did.
In the final, so I was there for both games. They were just like out, like couldn't even. I just like if I need a shot of like serotonin, I just go and rewatch videos from that trip. So, yeah. But I think
good. Okay, what's your favorite musical?
Oh.
Okay, I mean, or top 3-ish. I mean, I can say pretty much quickly without thinking about it what my favorite musical is. Okay. I think I could do it with, Into the Woods.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
It's my favorite. Like I can get chills just thinking about it. And then, at some point somewhere, they recorded the original Broadway cast.
Yes.
And I have owned 2 or 3 different versions of that cassette. I no longer have, I don't know where that is.
Yeah.
I don't have it on CD, but I saw, it's Joanna Gleason and Chip Zien and I can't remember everybody else, but it was that hands down, Stephen Sondheim, Into the Woods favorite. Yep. Okay.
Fine. I think it goes without saying, I think Les Miserables is one of the best musicals to ever grace the stage and that we've ever had the privilege of being able to listen to the music of. I think obviously Wicked. I know that's like so typical and like everybody's like,
it's beautiful.
I'm like, that's like the musical that got me addicted to musicals.
Yeah, so, it's amazing.
I love it. It's just over the top. There's just every type of song. It's a great story. It's a story everybody knows. I actually saw it again recently. I took my best friend Ethan to New York. I think early last year, and he had never seen Wicked before. And I felt like I was seeing it again for the first time because he had never seen it. And he would like grip my leg at certain points, and he was like, "What is this?" He's like, "This is gorgeous." Like he was like, "This is amazing." So I love that. Okay. So back to my, I think, I'm trying to think of what I like constantly have to listen to. I think I think of In the Heights is one of my favorites. This is a hot take. I think In the Heights is better than Hamilton in terms of like, I just like, there's an energy, there's a heart about it. I'm not saying Hamilton, I loved Hamilton. Like, don't get me wrong.
Sure.
I was on the Hamilton train. I loved Hamilton. But something about In the Heights, like, I just like that music I could listen to.
I'm sad that it's delayed.
Me too. To like next year, the movie.
I know. It's super sad.
So upset. So those three I loved. I love Next to Normal, and I know that Robin Miles also is obsessed with Next to Normal. I know that's
nice.
His favorite end-all be-all musical, and I have to agree, it is truly like an impeccable musical front to back.
I have not seen Next to Normal. However, on one of my trips to New York, it was probably before Noah was born. I went to see Avenue Q on Broadway, and Next to Normal was right next door. And so when we left Avenue Q, the crowd was coming out for Next to Normal, and Doug, oh my gosh, I just totally lost his last name. He's a comedian. He's hilarious. Doug, it just left me. Anyway, he was walking out. Yeah, he was walking out. He smokes a lot of marijuana, and he had sunglasses on. And I made a joke about him possibly and he laughed at me, and we got our picture taken together. But
I love that story.
It was dumb and random, but that was my closest thing to Next to Normal. Was I saw Doug, what's his name, come out
like,
with
Doug, that guy.
That guy.
I
knew when I saw him. Because I was like, hey, I know you.
Wait a second. Anyway. Yeah. And now you've got me thinking about all the musicals I like. I'm like, well, I've got to talk about.
Okay, you said those are three super good ones.
Super good ones. These are ones I'd recommend to people to go see.
Yeah. Wicked, In the Heights, Next to Normal, and Les Miserables. Yeah.
Les Miserables. Those I would recommend. Granted, I don't think Les Miserables is for like everyone.
It's not for everyone. I love it.
It's impeccable.
So one of my best friends, the one that I did the very first interview with, that's his favorite musical. Yeah. And he also helps with some different people that have been arrested for different things. And he has a little group that they're trying to work them back into the world and make good choices and all that kind of thing. And he's set up for them to watch Les Mis, because he loves it so much, and it's such a great story. And Jean Valjean, goes through. They hated it, but he's like, I tried.
We've all been kind of putting some of our friends through it, and they're like, I don't like this, and it's like, well, fine, but I do.
I get it. And I think sometimes too, when you have to watch something like, or when you have been able to watch it more than once. Yeah. That sort of helps you like understand it more and see the nuance and appreciate it. That just made me think your grandparents, when they lived in Europe, took us to two musicals. I saw in London Cats, and I also saw The Pirates of Penzance.
Okay.
With John and Carol Miles. We got to go do that.
Like, you will not hear me talk about Cats in any form of positivity in any
It was awesome to see, and I loved it. I love that we went and we saw, and I've seen it, and it was great, and I'm done.
Yep.
Same with Phantom. I loved seeing it. I cried. It was a beautiful story.
It's a gorgeous story.
Andrew Lloyd Webber is a lot, and I like him.
You either like him or you don't, and that's
right.
Fine.
And I can appreciate him and his talent, and I will enjoy them when I see them. But his musicals aren't the ones that I want to go see over and over.
I'm sorry. So I think this one not recently, it just kind of made its way into my favorite because I saw it recently, and my mom was like, I don't know if we want to go see this. It was Fiddler on the Roof. And I was like, oh, we'll just go because we had like the season tickets or whatever. Haven't seen Fiddler since I was like 6. And I was like, I just remember that, like, if I was a rich man. Yeah. Like, that's the only song I remember. And I took my best friend Jordan with me because she loves musicals too. And we're sitting there during this musical, and I'm like, this is incredible. I was like, this musical needs to get more attention again because it was incredible.
Yeah.
I looked at my friend Jordan, and she was like, we were like, we went home, she came over to my condo, and we watched the movie Fiddler right after because we were like, this was so good. Like,
That's awesome.
we could not stop singing the music. I was like, this incredible. I was like, this
There's
is so
a reason why those things hold up. That was the very first musical I was ever in where I had my own part. Like I wasn't a part of the chorus.
One of the daughters, or
I was the youngest sister, Belky, and I still remember all those people that were in the cast, and I was the kid in the cast, so I got quite an education backstage because it was community theater and they were all adults, and then so it was all of them and then me, but I was hooked after that.
So good.
Yeah, Fiddler, I love Fiddler. That will always be one of my favorites. Okay, so when this is all over and we're back to being able to get out a little bit more often. I'm not going to say normal because I don't know that will be exactly whatever. Yeah, it'll be some altered version. What would be your perfect weekend when this is all done? What's your idea of a good weekend going to look like?
I've been thinking about that too, because I'm like, what am I gonna do? I think I just genuinely miss my friends and like the shenanigans we'd get up to. And like Austin's has such a good like patio bar scene. Like you just go out there with your friends and you start at one place and you just like bounce around and end up at another place. And like, or they just everybody just ends up coming over to your condo playing like video games or like watching music videos all night. Like I was like, the first thing I want to do is just have my friends over to my house so we can like talk. Like I don't even really need to go anywhere. Like I miss like, I mean, I've been Zooming everybody, but it's just different when you can all like vibe off of each other, you know? It's just different. So I think that's like what I really do miss are those weekends where like we'd all meet out at like brunch, or we just meet at like a bar in the afternoon and just like sit and hang out and, or go. I miss going to the Alamo Draft House. Like I miss my movie nights going there. I had a routine because I live right behind an Alamo. My condo does. So I would just go there like twice a week and see a movie. So stuff like that.
Just good. Yeah, that sounds lovely. Lovely. Yes. All right, so this is going to be the lightning round, and then we're going to wrap this up because I think we've been chatting for over an hour.
Are we surprised?
And so not surprised. And if you stuck with us this long, congratulations. You are the proud owner of some useless knowledge about Maria and Melanie. Okay, so here we go. Just quick answer. Blue or red?
Blue.
Car or truck?
Car.
Okay, in a partner, do you want someone that would be which one's more important? Intelligence or sense of humor?
Sense of humor.
Couch or recliner?
Couch.
Tacos or sushi?
Taco. I want a taco like right now.
Yeah, I do too. I love them both, but I would have to go with tacos too. Yeah. Cheeseburgers or pizza?
Well, I don't eat burgers, so pizza.
You have to say pizza. Okay, which is worse, doing laundry or doing the dishes?
Well, I absolutely abhor both. So
I don't like either.
Dishes, I guess.
Yeah. I would say dishes only because I have to do them more frequently.
Yeah.
But I just like them both.
My dad the other day because he's had to do dishes. And I was like, Dad, you can just do what I do and just keep them there overnight and then not touch them for another day. And I thought he was going to go into cardiac arrest. So I was like, I thought it was funny. So
for those of you that don't know, Melanie's dad, he's very clean and he's very good at putting things away. And your dad's head would explode. If he came to my kitchen, I was thinking that actually. I was like thinking about getting ready for this interview and I was getting my kitchen ready and I looked at my sink and I thought, Tom Rich would not like this sink. I need to get it together. But
He was like saying he didn't want to do dishes. He was like, got to do dishes again. I was like, well, I have a solution for you. So
don't do it.
don't do it.
Oh, we have to have Tom Riches in our lives to
We do.
keep us balanced. Okay, football or baseball?
Football.
Big party or a small gathering?
Small gathering.
Ice cream or shaved ice?
Ice cream.
Facebook or Twitter?
Twitter.
Mm-hmm. Call or text?
Text.
Text.
Yeah.
Netflix or Disney Plus?
Oh, I'd say I'm more loyal to Netflix, even though my Disney Plus is getting a lot of use right now. So
Yes, I'm still learning the Disney Plus.
Mhm.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Cookies or cake?
Cookies.
Captain America or Iron Man?
They're both not my favorite, but Iron Man.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. If you had to pick one, Iron Man. All right.
Yeah.
Well, here's two of my favorite.
Okay.
Thor or Doctor Strange?
Thor. Thor is my favorite. Yeah.
I love them both,
Love them.
but
yeah.
I might have to pick Thor. Yeah. I don't know that I would have loved Doctor Strange as much had it not been for Benedict Cumberbatch.
He made Doctor Strange perfect.
Yes, that's the thing.
For sure.
Mustard or mayo?
Mayo.
Bell or Bueno?
Bell. I don't think I've ever had a Bueno. Taco Bell.
Really? Is there
No.
Bueno in Austin?
There is. Like, I've seen it, but my heart belongs to Taco Bell.
I get it. I mean, it's hard. They're I know. Okay,
Yeah.
wait. I have a few more
Okay.
and then we're done with this lightning round. Into your soul is what I like to call it.
Cool.
Not really. Okay. The city or countryside?
City.
Apple or Android?
Apple.
Yeah, I'm an Android person, but I get it.
Yeah.
Soup or sandwich?
Sandwich. No.
Beer
soup.
or soup? Soup.
Yeah.
Beer or wine?
Wine.
Okay, when you're asleep,
Mm-hmm.
do you want the fan or no fan?
Fan. 100%.
100% fan.
100%.
Ninjas or pirates?
Ninjas.
Interesting. Okay, go ahead and logistically analyze that, everyone watching these, because that was a conversation with my dear friend who is really like family,
Yes.
Melanie Rich. I love you.
I love you so much.
Wow.
Talk to you
Thank
soon.
you for doing this silly thing with me.
Of
I
course. It was
appreciate
great.
it. And everybody, thanks for watching. And tell your family I love them.
I shall.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.